Motherhood Incorporated proudly presents Military Mom Talk Radio live on TogiNet.com. Co-hosted by Robin Boyd and Sandra Beck, the owner of Motherhood Incorporated. Military Mom Talk Radio is here with a powerful platform for women to discuss their ideas, issues, and concerns with respect to the military lifestyle. Military Mom Talk Radio encourages you to share your experiences of being a military wife and mother. This show is dedicated to educating your family about the many resources that are available in both the public and private sector, and we'll be sharing helpful information from women all over the world. We'll cover everything military, from helping a family member cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, to navigating government programs dealing with family issues, to the struggles of deployment, along with being a working mother both in and out of the home. This is Military Mom Talk Radio, and here are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and we're waiting on Robin Boyd. We're having some technical difficulties, but until we get Robin on the line, I would like to talk to you about Operation Gratitude, because they are gearing up right now. In November and December is when they put out a lot of their care packages. Now, Operation Gratitude, for those who aren't familiar with them, they're the guys, one of the groups that send those care packages to our U.S. military. Now, on the Operation Gratitude site, you can request a package. So if you're listening today and you have a service member in your family and you'd like to send a care package to them, you simply go to operationgratitude.com, just like it sounds, and ask them to deliver a package to one of your family members. Now, there's an individual request form and a group request form, so you can make sure that everybody's involved. Now, these care packages are really amazing, and I've had the pleasure of going to the Armory with Operation Gratitude and stuff these care packages, and they contain food and magazines and different items. Sometimes there's books, there's ebooks, there are books that are on those little USB sticks have been in there. Really cool stuff. And so if you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to go to the Armory in Van Nuys and participate in the packaging of these items, it is really fun. It's really cool. And there's lots of veterans there. The thing that I experienced when I was there was watching a lot of these World War II veterans come in, World War II, in their wheelchairs, rolled in with their family members, and they were sitting at the table hand addressing these care packages so that they go right to the service members and their families. They look, hand delivered, and there's cool stuff in there. There's like hats and scarves and neck gaiters, and they put survival bracelets in there. We put Beanie Babies in there, and socks, black, brown, green, tan, not white, DVDs and CDs and video games and energy bars and lip balm and dental kits and pens and water bottles. I mean, there's just a million different items that go in here, and they're really, really cool care packages, and they're really well received by the troops. Now, you can request a care package for a service member or a troop. You can also get involved by, if you're in the Los Angeles area, coming to the Armory, and those dates and times are on their website, operationgratitude.com. You can donate. You can give money, because we have to pay $15 a box to have them shipped overseas. Now, there's also another cool way to participate this year that hasn't been in years past, is the Operation Gratitude wish list on Amazon. So it's really cool. You can just go to Amazon.com, do Operation Gratitude's wish list, and there you can buy like apple cider tea, protein bars. You can buy dental floss. Young Frankenstein is one of the the movies that is being offered. There's Pocket Sudoku. There's different high performance caps. There's nuts and spices, The Untouchables, Goodfellas, The Shawshank Redemption, Happy Gilmore. $5 to send Happy Gilmore over there so people can watch it, and Tommy Boy and Airplane. I mean, there's just some really, really cool things that you can buy for $5, or you can buy a toothbrush for a couple dollars. You can use your Amazon Prime free shipping and have it sent over there. So, whatever you want to do, however you want to participate, it's super fun. And I think we have Robin right now. Robin, are you with us?
I am. Hi there.
Hey. So I was like blabbing on about about Operation Gratitude because one of the cool things that they're doing this year, and I have an Amazon Prime account, and you've heard me talk about how great Amazon Prime is because it ships to a lot of different FPOs and bases, but they have put up a wish list this year on Amazon. So if you want to support the gift boxes that go out to our servicemen and women, you can go to Amazon and type in, you find someone's wish list is right up in the upper right hand corner. So you type in Operation Gratitude, and they have some cool things on there. They've got like Young Frankenstein, the movie. These are $5 movies. The Untouchables, Goodfellas, The Shawshank Redemption, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, which are like some of my favorite movies, Tommy Boy, I Never Grew Up, Airplane. But you can send them toothpaste, you can send them, shaving cream, and you can control what you're spending, and you can control what you're spending your money on. And I know there's people out there like me who don't like to give cash. I'm just funny that way, and I know that they need $15 a box to ship these boxes over there. But if you're uncomfortable feeling sending cash, or uncomfortable, you can now go on Amazon and buy some of these things. Like I saw the herbal tea and I thought, oh Rob, how cool would that be if you and I were serving, because we have tea and we Skype, we could have tea, and just, it's like whatever's meaningful to you. And there's lots of different products on there, lots of different price ranges. And how cool is it that Operation Gratitude is helping people control, for the control freaks out there, what goes in the boxes.
Well, it's really smart of them to develop this, because everybody is on Amazon, well, except me, but I haven't got one yet. But so tell me again, when you go to Amazon, you can search somebody's wish list by just typing in their name. Is that how you do it?
That's it. And in this case, you go like in the upper right-hand corner, under where the Amazon shopping cart is, there's a little search box that says find someone's wish list. Or you can just search wish list Operation Gratitude.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it comes up, and, they send 100,000 care packages filled with snacks and entertainment items. And, we drive the personal letters. I've done those campaigns with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to bring personal letters. But you can send them Captain America, Days of Future Past, the X-Men. I mean, these are really great movies that can be included. Now, you can send socks. They do need socks, large, women's large, men's large, dark brown. So if you really want to buy socks, like my mom used to buy socks for us for Christmas, so my mom would be able to buy socks and send them to the service members. But the other thing that's cool about these stuff is they're all vetted. So when you're not sure what to donate or what to send, Carolyn Blashek and her group went through this group and picked out these things on the wish list, because they're sunscreen towelettes. Like, how cool is that? 25 pack, for $15 you can protect their skin or help them, when they're over in the deserts. There's beer nuts. How fun is that? You can send a pack of beer nuts and a movie over there, or you can send, these cool little skincare creams, the Utterly Smooth, the cow stuff. How fun would that be for our servicemen and women, to get some of these things in there, instead of having us be dependent just on what's donated to us by big companies? How about reaching out into the community and send them some perky jerky? Just the name of these products, get them some cranberries. We all know what those are good for with women, and there's cooling wipes that you can send them. You can give them some itch relief packages, things, chapstick, bliss sticks, little almond packages are on there. There's so many cool things here that you can shop for that our service member, can use. And they picked out these little Beagle Beanie Babies for $7 and some card games. I mean, for, $20, you can send 12 sets of playing cards to our service members. Think about how much fun people can have with those.
That's wonderful. I think it's also great because then they can focus on the things that they do need, or the things that they are not getting enough of. Because if, let's say, they wanted to put beer nuts in every single one, but maybe we in the public didn't think to send beer nuts, they can be at least getting more of the things that they know are either the favorites or the things that they need to round out these packages. Because when you're sending the million packages that they are, it's really important to keep a consistent and quality package, which they do.
Well, yeah, and consistent. It's like the packages all contain different things. And that's actually kind of fun, Rob, because the guys come back when they come to my Toys for Tots parties. I talk to them like, oh, what'd you get in your packages last year? And what did you like? And what did you like? And, they trade stuff and, and it creates a whole little community within itself. But the two things that I know they always talk about they like, there's these little Starbucks ready brew Italian roast coffees. And they're like $30 for a 50 box. And they totally dig those. And then the emergency, that emergency, vitamin C stuff you drink?
Yeah.
You can get 30 packages for $13 and get them sent overseas without having to pay the overseas shipping. Let Operation Gratitude do that, knowing that for $13 you can make 30 people happy, or for $20 you can make 50 people happy. Just with some of these cool little things being put in their boxes. I mean, I just think it's so much fun. I would be on here all day shopping for servicemen and women, and I wouldn't be sending them a toothbrush, but they're on there too.
They need those. By all means, they need those. It's wonderful. And what a great idea for them. Now, did you already talk about going to the website to see some of the other things that might be suggested? Because their website is just so impressive. You see those pictures. You see other ways that you can help, whether it's selling, if you've got an old car that you're going to be getting rid of, whether it's, do they still do the phone exchange? If you've got an old phone and you've upgraded your phone, can you do that too? Those kinds of things we don't think about. You think, we're getting a new phone. But to be able to do the recycle, that's really important.
I don't know if they're doing the recycled cars anymore, but I do know that they're doing, letter writing campaigns. They have a Battalion Buddy program. They're looking for handmade scarves and ties. They do take cell phones. I guess, they do. There's a donate your car button. So, and then there's the Girl Scout troop to troop thing that you've been part of in getting the troops to get their cookies. Now, we've got a minute before break, Rob, so I'm going to talk about our upcoming guest. He's a really neat guy. He's a seasoned veteran, military family, has been in the military, so he's a military brat. I'm not going to give away who his family is. We're going to find out that more after the break, but we're going to be visiting with Dave Anderson of Anderson Leadership Solutions.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Welcome to The Quip with Miriam Nicole Huffman, a modern woman's guide to styling her faith, family, and finances. The online radio show dedicated to today's positive, purpose-driven woman who's ready to heal her heart, her head, and her household by realigning with what she values most. If your highest values are faith, family, finances, and freedom, you're in the right place. Host Miriam Nicole Huffman is a woman on a mission. Her mess to success journey has taken her from life as an upper-middle-class stay-at-home mom to a broke single mom to living a life of joy and wholeness as she builds a thriving business while raising her healthy, happy family. Every week on The Quip, Miriam Nicole shares her love, life, legal, and lifestyle success secrets. Whether it's wisdom you're seeking, inspiration and motivation from someone who's hit rock bottom and risen to success, or you want to know how to fully align your faith, family, and finances to create more freedom for yourself, you're in excellent hands with Miriam Nicole. Check out past shows by clicking on the podcast player to the right, or check our recent guests in the blog below. Got a question for Miriam Nicole? Want to be a guest on her show? Email us at thequip@miriamnicolehuffman.com. And join us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network. Are you ready to start rocking that woohoo that only you do? Because Lisa Stedman is on a mission. She will dare you, challenge you, enlighten you, provoke, and empower you to bring out that inner woohoo. Lisa is an internationally acclaimed best-selling author. She is a breakup expert, a brand consultant, CEO of Woohoo Inc. and the Woohoo Radio Network. She will show you how to take your boohoo and turn it into woohoo. Get rebellious and get real. Get your dreams off the back burner. Get inspired and motivated to take action. Start rocking that woohoo that only you do in love, life, and business. She is going to be here for you every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
We'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and this is Military Mom Talk Radio with Robin Boyd. And Robin, this is so exciting for me today because every time we bring on a new topic to discuss, I feel like it just opens up big avenues for communication. And today we're going to talk about second careers. What happens when you leave the military and join the civilian workforce? And it's really hard, I think, for the whole family. It's part of that transitioning to yet another new normal.
Absolutely. And I think this is so important because sometimes you do have somewhat of a direction, but you're not sure how to get there. And I think that's always anybody's difficulty is you may have a vision, but that transition from where you're at to where you want to be is so challenging.
Well, yeah, and I look at some of these, some of the groups that we've had on, for military transition to civilian life, and they, you plug in your MOS and then it spits out, some possible careers for you. And, I understand that they're doing the best that they can with it. But what happens when you're, high ranking or you've been in there a long time and you've achieved a certain level of leadership? That's why I'm really excited to bring on Dave Anderson today because he owns a company called Anderson Leadership Solutions, and he comes from a very decorated military family. He's got his own creds just from his own experience, which I'm going to have him talk about. He's a different kind of military brat, but he's one of the people that I see blazing pathways for our leadership professionals in the military to transition well into civilian life. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on Dave Anderson of Anderson Leadership Solutions. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Sandra, and thank you, Robin. I appreciate both of you having me on today.
Dave, you made a transition yourself, and you've made a name for yourself as a leadership expert. But prior to that, you come from a military family, and you have your own military credibility stuck in your back pocket, I'm sure, when you walk out the door. Can you share a little bit with our listeners about your family and about your experience?
Absolutely. My background is this. I'm an Army brat. Grew up moving around my early years, but my father ended up retiring as a general from the Army, and his last 24 years he served at West Point as the head of the physical education department at West Point. And so I grew up right there on base. And then when high school was over, I decided West Point was the way I was going to go, and I served in the military, served in the first Gulf War. And then after the first Gulf War, I left the military and went into my corporate job and spent 20 years with the same company before I started Anderson Leadership Solutions here just about 3 years ago.
So you grew up living, breathing leadership, truly, like it's in your bones, it's in your pores. You had your own experience, and then you worked in corporate America. So you know what it's like. We get a lot of letters, we get a lot of emails, especially from the military wives saying, oh my God, it's so hard to go from military life to civilian life. I think of my friends who left Camp Pendleton and went to Pepsi, and they were all going bananas in the middle, in the beginning, because the culture is very different.
It is, and the thing that I think most veterans, after they're gone, one of the things we miss most is the camaraderie that comes along with being in the military, and it is a very different culture that's there. And, having grown up in that culture and believing in the military culture, and growing up at West Point, where, you're just steeped in history. There's a statement they say about West Point that much of the history we teach was made by people we taught. And, you think about, General Lee, General Grant, General Eisenhower, General Patton. We have presidents. We have Eisenhower as our president. We have Grant as a president. We have Schwarzkopf. We have people in today's Army that we don't even know about yet who are poised to lead our country in the next decade and decades to come. And that's a unique place, and the military is a unique place to breed leaders, and it's a type of leadership that's so needed in our corporate world, but so misunderstood at the same time. And what I do a lot of is trying to help people, whether it be corporations, understand the type of leadership that individuals from the military can bring to the table, or help military people understand how to translate their leadership experiences to the corporate world. Bring these people together, because the type of leadership that goes on in the military and the values that the military holds dear is really needed in corporate America today.
It really is, Dave, and I spent a lot of time, teaching leadership, and I brought leadership of all things, a military style leadership to real estate. You talk about, a misnomer kind of thing, because you think of real estate agents as free spirits, and they are free spirits, but at the end of the day, these real estate companies are a corporation, and leadership was badly needed. But you're right, there was kind of like, there needs to be almost like a bridge or a translator between corporate America and the military, so that you can really get the best of both worlds working together to really do a great job.
I agree, and the thing is, there are a lot of former military people out there in positions who are attempting to do that and to help veterans who are currently in that transition phase, preparing for their next role in the civilian world, in their next leadership role. And what so many people think incorrectly about the military is leadership. Leadership is all about rank, and what they don't realize is, I don't care if you're E1 or E2 or you're up there at the general rank. There is leadership and leadership expectations that are put on all of us, no matter what our rank is, coming out of the military. And that is a unique thing. You could be a 25-year-old E5 or E4 leaving the military, and you have so much more leadership experience than any of those people that you'd be competing against for a job, who maybe just went straight to college or maybe just went straight to work. And that is a unique thing about each individual person's story who comes from the military that businesses need to understand, and we need to help veterans understand how to translate that to the corporate world.
Dave, let me ask you, as you were wrapping up your military career, were you finding challenges to find your place in the corporate world, and therefore was the inception of your business because you realized what you were learning was going to benefit others?
The interesting thing, Sandra, I think it was very favorable to me. When I left the corporate world, there was the industry I went into, which was the pharmaceutical industry, was heavily recruiting from the military. That's not the case anymore, but at the time it was. So there was already a large military influence, and people who understood the values that the military people brought to the table. what really started to stir me was when I started to think about life after my big corporate job, my job with a big corporation. When I started to look at other businesses and talking to people in other businesses and talking to veterans and figuring out how misunderstood they often felt, and actually just using things like LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, and I have my Twitter account which is Dave Anderson 88, and doing informal surveys of veterans who are now in the corporate world. And I ask them questions like, what are the most common misconceptions that civilians have about military leadership? And I realized that the same things were coming up over and over again, where they felt like it was a very top-down orientation. And really the civilian world kind of looks at the old movie Patton and believes that's the way the military is, and it just kind of makes me laugh. And anybody in the military knows that you're not going to have that type of autocratic leadership. If you are that type of leader, you're not going to last very long with today's soldiers because they're way too smart for that. But, when we got in, but it's so many companies, there are certain industries that tend to lend itself to working with veterans easily because there are already veterans in there and they have that understanding. But starting my company and realizing that the leadership principles that I learned from my dad, first of all, and then from West Point, and then my experiences leading soldiers, and then really transcended just military. These are ancient principles of leadership that it doesn't matter where you come from, military background or you don't, stuff works. And that's the thing. It works. And whatever we're doing, a lot of people are doing right now, that without the military values involved, that stuff's not working very well. And we need our veterans to have the ability to communicate that, to step into leadership situations and lead us into the future. I really believe we have a great generation coming up. And the greatest generation, as I've said in my talks when I speak, running my business, Anderson Leadership Solutions, I get the opportunity to speak to different civilian groups and military groups at times. And I remind people that the greatest generation wasn't called the greatest generation until after they'd been out of the military for 50 years. So our guys and our men and women who are getting out of the military have a lot to offer our society, and we need to give them that opportunity and treat them with the respect and make sure that we have a true understanding of what they bring to the table.
Absolutely, Dave. We're going to go to commercial break now. This is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd. We're visiting with Dave Anderson of Anderson Leadership Solutions. Rob, I cut you off there. Sorry about that.
That was just going to lead into the commercial. And that's where we're headed right now. We are with David Anderson from Anderson Leadership Solutions, and we'll be right back on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd. And we'll be right back after these.
Hey kids, do you think you're creative? Do you want to be? Don't have enough time for your arts, crafts, and hobbies? Or do you just need a kick in the pants? Hi, I'm Mark Lipinski, the host of Creative Mojo with Mark Lipinski, right here on TogiNet Radio. Come on and join me every Wednesday afternoon for some creative inspiration and 2 of the fastest fun-filled hours of your week. Hey, need ideas? How about a little motivation and a lot of inspiration? Join the fun on Creative Mojo with me, Mark Lipinski. I'm here live every Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, right here on TogiNet.com. Now what are you waiting for?
Shh, listen. Something is brewing. The beautiful business evolution is coming. The way we do business is about to change for the better, forever. This is real business at its very best. On Beautiful Business Radio, you will learn what it means to truly prosper, how to nourish yourself and your business, how to earn what you deserve and make a difference in the world. The tide is rising, the change is here. Discover a new way to live, love, and partner with yourself and your business on Philippa Rowlands Presents Beautiful Business Radio, where you matter and your business thrives, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, Military Moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we're visiting today with Dave Anderson, and he owns a company called Anderson Leadership Solutions. And the reason I brought him on, Rob, was because I wanted to share with the military family different opportunities for second careers and some of the mindset that goes beyond it. And it was interesting because I just got on LinkedIn when Dave was talking about LinkedIn, and there's a C-lift command that patched in saying, well, how do I talk about myself without sounding like I'm bragging and boasting? And I'm going to throw that one right over to Dave because he's got experience in it. He's got a company that backs him up with this stuff. How do you present yourself? You know, Dave, when you're in the military, there's a certain protocol. There's a certain way of addressing each other. It's very, very clear. You know, I think it eases social situations. But then you go into the civilian world, and you might be in a job interview or at an event that's, and I just hate to say it this way, but I'm going to say it, full of civilians that aren't going to respond to the way you used to communicate. So how do you tell your story? How do you talk about yourself, you know, that in a way that's going to resonate with your new culture?
Well, I think the first thing that we learn very quickly is that most people don't understand all the acronyms. So we got to get rid of the acronyms, and I think, and the military jargon. And trust me, every company out there has its own jargon as well. So I train people on interviewing and work with people who are preparing for promotions and going into promotional interviews. And what I talk to them about is, you know, talk to somebody like you're talking to your mom. Okay? If you're going to try to explain your job to your mom, how would you do that? Somebody who's an ordnance professional, or somebody who's working in the Signal Corps, or somebody who's working out, on subs, they would not explain their job to their mom in the way that they would explain it to a colleague. So one way to do that is to talk about it just like you would to your mother, and it sounds pretty infantile, but it really made me think about how am I going to talk to people who really have no clue about what I do for a living, and that's one thing. I think, you know, the question about how to talk about yourself without sounding like you're bragging. I really like that question because first of all, it shows a level of humility. And that is sorely lacking in leaders these days. And I believe in the military, yeah, we've got the guys who come out of there with the big heads, but we also have a lot of people who served and they did their duty, and they don't need a lot of fanfare, and they don't need the spotlight shined on themselves. But when you're in an interview process, you need to let people know what you did, the good stuff that you did. And do your best to eliminate adjectives. And what I tell people is, you know, just state the facts. This is what I accomplished. These are the things that I did. These are the tasks that I had in front of me, and this is the situation I had in front of me, the tasks that I had to do, the actions I took, and the results of those actions. You don't have to sit there and say, and that was better than anybody else in my platoon, in my squad, or whatever, or I had the highest of this. You know, you can be just matter of fact about these are my accomplishments, period. Now, some of your accomplishments may be that your officer efficiency report said that you were the top and rank person of your rank in your battalion or in your group, and that's okay to state that. That's a fact. That is not tooting your own horn. That is a fact, and I think that's fair game to say in an interview. But I like the humility aspect of that question. But I do believe those of us. I don't think I'm that humble. So let me say, those of you out there who are very humble and might struggle with bragging about yourself, state the facts. The facts are the facts. You've got great accomplishments. Tell people about them. You don't have to dress them up with a lot of flowery adjectives. Just tell them what you did and make sure that they understand your job the way you would explain it to your mom.
And I think, too, that there are a lot of opportunities to indicate I was able to do this because my team was together on this, or my team was able to accomplish this. And that only indicates even more what a superior leader this person is by having brought this team to accomplish whatever the situation is.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of using we a lot more than I in those situations. And what pronouns do you use is always an important part of that. I think that the people coming out of the military, the men and women coming out of the military, have really three traits that they bring to the forefront that you won't necessarily see in people who didn't have the military experience. First of all is the leadership. And that is unique. As I said in the earlier segment, it doesn't matter what rank you were, what grade you were expected to lead wherever you were, and that is very unique. You could have a 26-year-old E5 who ran, for no better example, he used to have to run a rifle range. Now, I talk to these guys, and they don't believe that they have any experience that shows that they're a leader, except for maybe they led a squad for a while and things. And so what are all the logistics that go into running a rifle range? All the coordination that you have to do, all the things and the safety aspect and everything that you have to do in running that rifle range, it's a huge responsibility. Most people their age would never have had that opportunity to lead and that type of responsibility. The second thing I talk about is the whole idea of accountability, and in the military we call it duty. I mean, we have a sense of duty in the military, and in the civilian world, you might want to use the word accountability because that's what they hear. And I just wrote a blog here recently on my website. I'll spell it out for you so everybody can hear it. I speak fast sometimes. It's ALS, as in Anderson Leadership Solutions, lead LEAD.com. Anderson Leadership Solutions lead.com. And so I wrote it about the whole concept of duty, and that is a missing concept sometimes in the civilian world, and how precious a concept that is in the military world, and how military veterans can bring that into wherever they show up and work in the civilian world. And the last thing I'd say about our military men and women coming, adaptability, the ability to adapt. Everybody knows the old saying that a plan is only as good as when only works right up to the point the first shot is fired, and then you have to be able to adapt from the plan. And that is one of those misperceptions that a lot of people have, that military people, for whatever reason, they think that we don't have that outside the box thinking, and I laugh at that. That's all we do is think outside the box, because nothing ever goes as planned, and that's a selling point. That is a selling point all of us need to be hitting on when we talk to people who don't have the military experience.
Well, I think that's really important that you talk about that, Dave, because we've talked a lot about the adaptability, the resource, the adaptability, the ability to change, the resourcefulness, the idea of what a military family goes through with having to adapt to different cultures, different time zones, different foods, different everything, and to navigate all of these things, whether you're a military mom or then you look at what goes out on in the field or in the different forums, you just go, okay, I'm a problem solver first and foremost, because I have to do this every single day of my life. But I don't think most people recognize that as being one of the wonderful attributes of a prior service man or woman or the military family.
It's huge. It really. The longer I've been in been in outside of the military, the more I realize what a precious value system, what a precious skill that is. It's developed by everybody associated with the military by necessity. If you don't have it in you, they're going to make sure you have it by the time you're gone, because you have to be able to adapt. And that was probably when I did that survey, whether I did it on my Twitter account at Dave Anderson 88, or I did it through Facebook as well. I got Anderson Leadership Solutions on Facebook as well. I asked that question, and that was probably one of the biggest things. Other than the belief that the military was autocratic leadership, the second thing was that military people were not adaptable. And it just kind of blew my mind. But the more I asked that question, the more I realized that is something that people without military experience don't understand about people who are coming from our military, and we have to let them know by telling stories. And I'd say that's the other thing I would say, that we need to be able to tell stories to explain our experiences. And to have that, for instance, one time when I was out in the desert, this happened, and I had to adapt this way. For instance, one time when I was on the aircraft carrier and this broke, and I had to adapt this way, and I had to get these people involved. Those type of stories to translate important values for the people we're interviewing with or we're talking to about our experiences are huge. So I would tell everybody out there, start paying attention, start thinking about, what are my stories that show that I am adaptable, that I am accountable or have that sense of duty, that I am a leader. What stories do I have that I can translate to the civilian world when I speak to these people when it's time for me to move on and go out there into the civilian world?
Dave, we've only got a couple of minutes before our next break. I wondered how quickly after someone severs from the military do they come to you? Do you find that they already have a direction that they are wanting to get to, or do you find a majority are just saying, I'm not sure what to do?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I would say what I get is the really wise ones, not wise because they come to me, but wise because they're thinking ahead, are asking before they leave. They're saying, okay, I'm ETSing here in about 6 months. I need to really start thinking through what's next for me. Who can I talk to? And I'm one resource. Obviously, every base has a resource like that, but I'm one resource that can help.
That's super.
Then you have the people who come. They're in their first job out of the military, and they're like, "I've made a big mistake." So what I'd say is,
that's true.
but get perspective early.
That's a great suggestion, and we are talking today with David Anderson. He says developing leaders transcends business. Leadership impacts our family relationships, spiritual involvement, work involvement, and communities. No other business focuses on training impacts as leadership development does. We're going to find out more, and maybe more on where to go, not necessarily how to go, but maybe places to go when we come back with David Anderson right here on Military Mom Talk Radio.
Are you a military mom looking for help in dealing with the system? Keeping the home fires burning? Well, that's what we're here for. It's Military Mom Talk Radio with Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd, and we'll be right back after these.
It's time to devote time to yourself and strap yourself in for a fun, down-to-earth, enthusiastic, compassionate, easy-to-understand discussion on the unlimited ways you can be all that you want to be. Join us for Be Institute Radio with Christine McKee on TogiNet Radio. Each week, Christine will have lively and open discussions and interviews, share stories and case studies, and hear from experts on the topic of the week. Christine, a registered psychologist from Australia and published author of Be by Design, How I Be is Up to Me, hosts lively discussions and interviews every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
If you're ready for a big change in your work, your career, your happiness, your life, it's time for the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 Central on TogiNet.com. Marla believes that with the right mindset, anything is possible. Join us as successful life coach Marla Tabaka inspires you and her clients to explore, discover, and live your dreams by developing what she calls the $1 Million Mindset. Marla will inspire you to take action on your dreams and reveal secrets to success that will help you realize your own unique power. Tune into the $1 Million Mindset for heartwarming stories with Marla Tabaka. Learn tips and tricks to building a successful business and unlock the secrets to creating a happier, more balanced life through abundant thinking and attraction power. For more information on the $1 Million Mindset, go to our website, marlatabaka.com. That's MarlaTabaka.com. It's the $1 Million Mindset with Marla Tabaka. Monday afternoons at 2, 1 p.m. Central on TogiNet.com.
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and a statue of liberty started shaking.
Welcome back to Military Mom Talk Radio on TogiNet.com. Covering topics to help on the home front with help from those who know how the system works and how to work the system. It's more fun than a sale at the BX. Now let's get back to it. It's Military Mom Talk Radio. Here again are your hosts, Sandra Beck and Robin Boyd.
Hey, military moms, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Robin Boyd, and we are visiting with Dave Anderson of Anderson Leadership Solutions today. And for those of you that missed the first 3 quarters of the show, I welcome you to check us out on iTunes. We have over 220 hours of military family-friendly content free for the download. You can also find us on militarymomtalkradio.com. You can check us out on TogiNet, our host station out of Texas, TogiNet.com. I'm not sure where you're listening from today, but check them out because we've got a wonderful group of military shows that teach us everything from deployment techniques to best meals. What do we have? Psychological practices. We've got PTSD, trauma awareness, you name it. I think we've covered it in the almost 5 years we've been on the air.
5 years and counting.
And counting, right. We haven't been fired yet, so you can keep listening to us every week, live if you want to listen to us, Mondays at 2 o'clock. Rob, you know, our station is located in Texas, and Dave Anderson is located in Texas, and I've been very public over the years about my dislike of California and my desire to move, probably to Texas. So, Dave, you might find me as your neighbor sooner rather than later. I don't know if that's a good thing. But I will say that a lot of people, when they choose to leave their military career and they're not sure where to land, Texas seems to come up more often than not. And you're here representing the great state of Texas. So what's so great about Texas being prior military? What's so great about moving there?
Well, let me a quick disclaimer first for any people I grew up with in New York. I am still a Yankees fan. Okay, so
I
just need to say that right up front. But I got stationed down at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, and I met my wife there. And when you marry a Texas girl, you're going to end up living in Texas. It's pretty much the law down here. So that's how I got here. Why do I stay? And why do I think it's a great place for veterans to come and explore their options? Well, there's a lot of reasons, and I am biased. I'll say that up front. I'm on a board for the East Texas Veterans Alliance, and we are actively engaged in trying to attract veterans to the East Texas portion of Texas, but I'll brag on Texas as a whole as well. Some people may not know that there's more Fortune 50 companies in the state of Texas than any other state in the nation, more than California, more than New York. And there's more and more moving to Texas all the time because, one, there's no state income tax here, and so everybody likes to have a little bit more in their paycheck month to month. And you also have a very business-friendly environment that Texas is ranked here in the last 2 weeks, I think it was. It came out that Texas is ranked by Fortune 500 CEOs as the most business-friendly environment in the nation. And so when you're attracting strong businesses to your state, then they're going to need great workers and great people to be part of those businesses. And I can't think of a better group than veterans to come take advantage of that.
It is across the country. Oh, I was just going to say, across the country, there are so many industries that are having some difficulties, and I think Texas still is seeing growth in a lot of industries.
If you saw during the years of the 09, 2010, 11, when everybody was talking about unemployment, the unemployment rate in Texas was lower, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But Texas is a very diverse industry base, and you have high tech, you have low tech, you got service industries, you got oil and gas, you've got all these. You have an incredible medical. Set of medical facilities here in the state of Texas. Out here in East Texas, you have all those things. You have manufacturing, you have medical, you've got schools here, in more colleges here in Texas that are veteran friendly. Here in Tyler, where I live, we have Tyler Junior College, is one of the top junior colleges in the entire country where people come to use their GI Bill. You also have University of Texas Tyler, which is the fastest growing satellite campus for University of Texas, which is based out of Austin. And that type of environment, and by the way, I know there are a lot of veterans out there that like to fish and hunt, and out here in East Texas, we got tall trees, big lakes, and lots of hunting land. So come on out and join us, not just for the business, but for the outdoors life, too.
I've got my for sale sign on the house right now.
Well, I was in sales for a while, so I'll just tell you that it comes naturally to me to speak that way. I mean it, though. I love this state. I love being here, and there are so many bases here, whether or not you're Air Force based or Army, and we even have some naval air stations and things around, and that. When you want to go back and you want to shop at the PX or at the BX, and you want to be close to the military health care and things. There's lots of options for you here, and that's always nice as well.
Dave, you are so engaging and just so inspiring. I'm sure so many people want to get in touch with you. Do we have to live in Texas to communicate with you and avail ourselves of your services?
No, absolutely not. I do live in Texas, but I do work with people all over the country, and you can always contact me via my website, again, which is www.alslead.com. That's Anderson Leadership Solutions. LEAD.com. You can contact me through there. You can also just type in info@alslead.com, and the email will come directly to me. And if you want to talk about coaching or preparing for the next challenges in your life, the civilian world, and what's out there for you, I'll be happy to talk to anybody about that. Like I said, I love veterans. I'm the son of an Army general. I'm a veteran myself. I have friends of mine who are themselves just became generals, which just make me feel really old right now. And guys I served with that, and I'm proud to say that I can call them friends because of all that they've done over the last decade for this country over there in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this is my life. I love developing leaders. I love helping veterans, and just get in touch with me. You can, again, contact me through Twitter, too, at Dave Anderson 88 is my Twitter handle. And I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook as well.
Do you find that you are invited more and more by corporations to come and speak to than even just one-on-one coaching with people?
That's probably the majority of what I do. I work with corporations with the majority of the time. I do work with individuals, but a lot of, again, those corporations, they have an idea about the leadership, and they all want the same thing, which is what we understand to be good leadership for the military. They just don't know how to get there, and I'm one of those guys who goes out there and hopefully shows them this is how you get there. This is how you build a culture of leadership within your company. I spend a lot of time talking about culture and the character of an individual. I really focus on a few things. I focus on character, focus on leadership, I focus on courage, and I focus on accountability, a.k.a. duty. And those are things that seem to ring home. And everybody out there right now who, I know this is military moms, but you're part of the military too, and you all know that that's part of the culture of the military. And so some of you are nodding your head saying, yeah, that's what the military is all about. That's what these corporations want. They're just not quite sure how to get there. And I'm fortunate enough to have built a business out of helping people and organizations get there.
Absolutely.
Well, and Dave, I think it's interesting that veterans can help veterans. I know there's funding available, for veterans starting their own businesses. Mm-hmm. You've done it. You've started your own business, and mm-hmm. you've made a career out of it. What's your best piece of advice that you can give someone who's thinking of starting their own company, maybe it's a leadership company like yours? Mm-hmm. What's your best piece of advice for them?
Boy, it sounds overdone, but people have said it for years, probably because it's true. What are you passionate about? What can you see yourself doing for the rest of your life? If you're going to just do it just to make money, then you're going to burn out just like you would in any other job. If you do what you're passionate about and you follow it, you'll never work a day in your life. You'll just be going out and having fun. Now, your hours, I work harder now for myself than I ever did for corporate America, and I love every minute of it. And I know that what I'm doing out there makes a difference. And so, follow your passion, and don't just sit there. I always say, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Okay, a lot of people have these dreams, but they never put a deadline on them, so then they just stay out there as dreams. Turn it into a goal and put a deadline on it. I'm going to start my own business by this date. I'm going to do this by this date. I had friends of mine who spent 3, 4, 10 years dragging their feet, even making the decision whether or not they were going to stay in the military or get out. And set a deadline. And know that, okay, I'm going to put a deadline on this thing, and that dream will become a goal. And all of a sudden when you have a goal, then all of a sudden everything becomes much more realistic. And you start saying, okay, how do I achieve this goal? It's no longer a dream anymore. So I would just say put a deadline on your dream and turn it into a goal, and work in your area that you're passionate about. And you're going to have a ball doing it, because I know I am.
That's fantastic. And there again, it's the inspiration. I think sometimes you just need to see a model. You need to see, okay, I know someone else has done this. I really need to do this. I really need to focus. And sometimes that's the kick in the pants that you need. You just need somebody that's going to be their coach. Someone's going to be the mentor, and someone's just going to get you going to where you have it in you. You just don't know where it is in you.
Well, I can tell you, here's what I would say. If somebody calls me, don't expect me to tell them the things that they want to hear. I will say what I think you need to hear. I will try to do it in a way that doesn't tick anybody off too badly. I'm going to work as hard as somebody's success, harder than, well, let me say it this way. You're not going to find somebody who's going to work harder at your success than I am.
Yeah.
Right up to the point when I figure out I am working harder at it than you are. And when I'm working harder at it than somebody else, then I'm ready to end that relationship. But if somebody wants to get better, if somebody wants to excel, if somebody wants to do something great, then I'm going to be right beside them to do that. So contact me if you're interested in that.
We are so anxious for everybody to be in touch with you. David Anderson of Anderson
Leadership Solutions.
Anderson Leadership Solutions. We want you to find it at alslead.com. David, it's been a pleasure to meet you. We're so glad you were with us.
Hey, this definitely was more fun than a sale at the BX, I'll tell you that. So.
Tune in next week, everyone. We've got Sharon Silver coming from Proactive Parenting, an author and a wonderful gal that's going to help us with a lot of parenting issues. Take care.